Mhm.
कैमरा ऑन होता है. दिसत नाही आहे. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hello and welcome, Dr. Kishori Bhagat, ma'am. Uh, can we start with the technical session, ma'am?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so I, on behalf of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of PTVA's M.L.Dahanukar College of Commerce, in collaboration with Department of Civics and Politics, University of Mumbai, extends a very warm welcome to you all in post-lunch technical session of G20 and Multilateralism One-Day International Online Conference. As it is said, research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. To keep up with the spirit of this observation, we are very fortunate to have Dr. Kishori Bhagat with all the acumen and expertise of research and be there as chairperson of this session. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Kishori Madam. Dr. Kishori Jagdish Bhagat, she is an associate dean, faculty of commerce at University of Mumbai. She is a principal of Dr. Shantila Dhanji Devse College of Wada. She is appointed as a member of Board of Studies in Commerce, University of Mumbai. Appointed as a member on panel of paper setter for PET under the Facility of Commerce and Management, University of Mumbai. She is also appointed as nominated member on the ad hoc Board of Studies in Management Studies at PK Birla College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Autonomous. She is a member of various committees at University of Mumbai. She is a recognized PhD guide in commerce at University of Mumbai. Total 6 students have completed their PhD and currently 3 students are pursuing PhD under their guidance. She is appointed on the editorial board of Shodh Samiksha and Mulyankan, Research Analysis and Evaluation, and International Research Result. She has also published many books on financial accounting, strategic management, and business ethics and corporate social responsibility. She has received many awards, namely Adarsh Dombivilikar Puraskar, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan Memorial Award 2018, and Navdurga Puraskar to name few. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity, and being associated with the Anukar College is always a privilege. And at the outset, let me thank the organizers for having me here at the conference, with special thanks to my friend Dr. Kanchan Fulmani, principal of the college. And I think we will immediately start with the paper presentation, and maybe the concluding remark overall I would be giving. I think that should make sense.
Okay, ma'am. So, to just remind you that we are giving one best presenter. So please be. I'm sure that all the participants are very much enthusiastic about that, and they will may surely make it difficult for you. I'm confident about that. So we'll start with the first presentation. So I'll request Shruti madam to start with it. Start over it. Shruti ma'am.
Good afternoon, one and all. Our first presenter is Priya Nadar, and her topic is Study on Presidency of G20 in India SWOT Analysis. Ms. Priya, whether I'm audible, whether she has joined the meet. I think Priya, she has not joined the meet yet. So we'll just go to the second presenter, that is Rutuja Chandrakant Kamble. Her topic is Study on Awareness of Mahila Samman Savings Certificate Post Office Scheme in Working Women. Rutuja, whether I'm audible, are you there? Rutuja Kamble. I just request all the presenters, please be ready with your presentations. We
Yes,
already,
ma'am.
yeah.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you just share your screen? Can you start with the presentation? Yes, thank you.
Yes, yes. This one.
Sorry to interrupt you. I forgot to
Um,
give one instructions to everyone that the presentation will be of 5 minutes, At the end of 4th minute, you will hear the warning, and you have to end your presentation within 5 minutes. Okay.
Yes, Rutuja, it's visible. You may start your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will start my presentation with the quote of Dr. Ambedkar, where he said that I measure the progress of a community by the degree of process which women have achieved. The state is simply implying us that if you want to progress in our community, we need to check the progress of a woman in our community. The progress is developed throughout the time, and government played a very significant role in empowering of women. If we start from the initial start of the initiative of Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao, or we can say the new policy of Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana, which worked at both rural as well as at the urban area also. But a recent scheme that brought attention of several women, especially in the budget speech of 2023 and 24, that was Mahila Samman Savings Certificate. So the purpose of this paper is to study the awareness of Mahila Samman Savings Certificate scheme in women. So the rational and the gap analysis which I tried to find out throughout the resource paper was the minimum amount that women are, prefer to invest on the monthly basis, as well as we try to find out the purpose of their investment also, whether it is tax saving, future expenses, or something. With that, we also keen to find out the time period where they are in, time period, or you can say that, the term where they are comfortable to invest, as well as, the different types of policies, as well as the awareness of our main topic, that is Mahila Samman Savings Certificate Scheme. The objective of my study is to find out the respondent level of awareness towards the Mahila Samman Savings Certificate of the scheme, and to review the benefit of Mahila Samman Savings Certificate scheme for women. As well as we try to find out the role of government in this scheme also for the women empowerment. Before that, we try to find out the literature review related to that also. So, Ms. Navreen Asif, in 2023, in her resource paper, where a comparison of the Mahila Samman certificate with other small savings schemes for the empowerment of women in India, they did a ABCD analysis, and they said that this policy or this scheme is very good and give a tax saving also. But there is constraint that, or you can say that disadvantages which we have is that, the scheme is only limited for the 2 years, which is the biggest disadvantages. Apart from that, we try to find out that why financial literacy is so much important in women life. So in the resource paper, role of financial independence of uplifting the woman, the status of women, she says that, the awareness and the independence of finance leads to a woman empowerment. Women try to think, a better way when she gets the financial literacy as well as the financial independence. We try to find out the resource methodology. Further moving ahead with our resource methodology, we have used a simple random sampling method for the data collection, primary as well as secondary data. Both the techniques has been used for the data collection. For the primary data, we went for pre-structure questionnaire, open-ended and close-ended questions. Questionnaire, or you can say Google form, is circulated on the social media like WhatsApp and Instagram. Sample size is 100 female respondent. And secondary data is collected from the various journals, articles, magazine, and the social media reviews. If we move towards the analysis of the interpretation, the minimum amount which we prefer as a woman, we are, agree to invest on a monthly basis. If you can see that in the pie chart, most of the women have selected amount of rupees 2,000 to 5,000. If we compare this to Mahila Samman certificate scheme, the minimum amount for investing in this scheme is 1,000. So if we look forward, we can try to invest our money in this scheme, and this scheme is actually starting from
Rutuja,
1,000.
sorry to interrupt
The
you. Last 4 minutes are left. Sorry, 1 minute is
yeah,
left.
one. Yes, and the purpose of our investment, we try to find out the purpose of their investment also. The purpose of their investment is the important factor while investing. So 84% of the women are they saying that they are investing for the future expenses, and others are for the tax saving also. If we come to the major important fact that that is this scheme is available to everyone. So no, for almost 56% of the women don't know about this scheme. So we can say that we are required to do more and more awareness about this Mahila Samman Savings Certificate scheme. Apart from that, my findings of the study is that this scheme is giving 7.5% of the uh, rate of interest, and no TDS
Rutuja,
is deducted at the
your
interest
time is
amount.
up. Please conclude your presentation.
Yes, yes. Um, in my conclusion, we can say that we women are very capable of taking financial decisions, and this policy is for the great initiative by the government of India. But as I said, that the with the disadvantages, it is coming as that it is only for 2 years. So in my suggestion parts also, I have mentioned that we need to extend the time period also, where all, or you can say that maximum women can invest in this scheme, which is giving so much of return. Thank you. I conclude.
Shruti, your voice is not there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Rutuja. Let's move to the next presenter now.
Shruti, just
Thank
interrupt
you.
you. I
Yes,
have
yes,
because
ma'am.
I came late little within this yeah, session. So I
You're
just
welcome,
wanted
ma'am,
to
to this
talk to
session.
Kishori madam. I have to welcome her. Just I have to welcome
Yes,
Kishori
yes,
madam.
yes.
For that purpose, I've just welcome madam. And this is our pleasure that Associate Dean of Mumbai University, she is along with you, and she has accepted our invitation. It is a really, really pleasure for us. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Anything for a friend, ma'am. Thank you. And always a privilege to be associated with you and Dhanukar College.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Kishori,
Shruti,
ma'am,
go ahead.
shall we
Yes,
start with our
yes, yes,
presentation
yes,
now?
beta, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Sudha, ma'am, are you there? Sudha, ma'am, because our next presenter is Dr. Sudha.
Yes, yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Sudha, ma'am. So our next presenter, Dr. Sudha Subramaniam, and her topic for the presentation is study of the Indian economy with respect to rising international integration and vulnerability to external shocks.
Yes. Thank you, Shruti.
Ma'am, please present your
Yes, yes.
PPT.
Is the presentation visible, Shruti?
Yes, yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, fine. Yeah, a very
You
good
may start
afternoon.
your presentation, ma'am. Yeah.
A very good afternoon to everyone. My topic is study of the Indian economy with respect to rising international integration and vulnerability to external shocks. And I would like to say that even as we are sitting here and presenting and discussing, the time for action has come. Now, the benefits from economic growth have flowed unevenly. There is a lot of disparity both at national level and international level. And although we have, as a country, have made significant progress in the path of international integration in trade and finance, simultaneously, there have to be adequate buffers and implementation of sound economic policies We have to build our resilience and insulate ourselves, and this requires policy coordination. Along with internal growth, today the fault lines across the globe, which reveal and which have been analyzed in different quarters of the world, require to be addressed. So, Hiroya Ueno, one of Japan's leading experts in industrial policy, stated that unlike traditional fiscal and monetary policies, industrial policy demonstrates no clear relationship between its objectives and the means of attaining them. Its conception, content, and forms differ, reflecting the stage of development of an economy, its natural and historical circumstances, international conditions, and its political and economic situation, resulting in considerable differences from nation to nation and from era to era. This is a very important statement because, as we ourselves saw the speakers put forward today, from what we came back in time when Russia, China, and India were aligned, more strategically favorably for economic interaction, and today, as time flows, the changes which have come. So there is definitely tight money supply in the world. Introduction to very briefly say, when we say that full year projections for India's economy to 6.7% of fiscal year, okay, ending in March 2024, from the previous projections of 6.3% and 6.2% in terms of economic growth. Here too, there are differing projections by some organizations, and there are also certain aspects where we have to ensure that we do not encounter certain pitfalls or we manage the hurdles well. Now, comparative indices by the World Bank also reveal a need to filter out economic efficiencies and inefficiencies arising due to stagnation, saturation, human capital factor is not just India but the world over. So, technology and innovation, which have resulted in seamless integration, we have to also ensure that there is lot of disparity which is equalized. And now when the literature review focuses on certain important aspects, okay, like for example, though the eurozone crisis was controlled and there was bailout, but then when we speak of the austerity measures, so how far is the world tuned in to reduce rampant consumerism? It is all about sustainability, definitely. So the World Sustainability Indices, when we say the world together has to move in the line of sustainability. In his book Fault Lines, Raghuram Rajan predicted the economic recession. He demonstrated how unequal access to education and healthcare in the United States puts the entire world in financial peril, how it put, and how country policies impact each other, varied factors that can trigger a crash. Now, with all this, you see, Auguste Tanno-Come, World Bank's country director in India, stated the Indian economy continues to show strong resilience to external shocks. He stated, notwithstanding external pressure, India's service exports have continued to increase and current account deficit is narrowing. Now, we all know that the major contribution to the Indian economy GDP comes from agriculture and from services sector. Agriculture is around 17 plus percent, and the services sector is about 45% plus. So, therefore, when we speak of even, building India as a manufacturing hub, we also need to recognize that we are speaking of a global framework in which manufacturing is happening in countries of the world. So, economic inequality is on the rise globally, and here we can see briefly, how India's economic inequality in share of national income. Therefore, even in international trade, India's progress, if you see,
Last 1 minute left.
definitely have a lot to. Now, so need for sound economic policies which encompass monetary, fiscal, trade, structural reform, the external shocks and external economic crisis. We need to build our resilience. So the hypothesis that is Indian economy is sufficiently insulated from external shocks with rising international integration, and H1, the Indian economy must be well prepared and must work to ensure that build its resilience to external shocks will arise. So
Last
the
30
objectives
seconds left.
Okay. And to infer how the research methodology exploratory descriptive, these are the findings of the purchasing power parities. Okay, and they are indicative of a higher requirement of PPP ironing out, a positive multiplier, negative multiplier, the GDP growth, the capex. So all this is there in the papers. The Goldman Sachs report also has revised the forecast, and so therefore we need to focus very strongly, even as Raghuram Rajan speaks of breaking the mold, and the CII is revised. So China's India comparison, the potential pitfalls in terms of maintaining fiscal deficit, dependence, volatility. So finally, we reject the null hypothesis and we accept the alternative hypothesis. The current scenario presents
Ma'am,
the challenge.
time up.
Yes, thank you.
Kindly conclude your
Continuous monitoring and adaptation of monetary and fiscal policy is the best path forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
So,
much,
yes.
Sudha ma'am.
So there is more analysis in the paper. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, our next presenter is Dr. Kinjal Gosai. Kinjal ma'am, are you there? I think she's not joined the meet yet.
Okay.
So we'll go to the next presenter.
Take her permission and move to the next presenter.
Okay.
Miss Ritika, are you there?
Take her permission.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And
So Ritika, you start with your presentation.
Okay, ma'am, is my slide showing? Is it visible?
Yeah, kindly share your screen.
Yeah, I already shared my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay,
Please continue.
okay.
Ritika, are you presenting?
One minute, one minute, one minute.
Yes, yes. I'll just request all presenters, please keep your presentation ready.
it is visible.
Okay, okay, sir. Uh, Hello, everyone. My topic is a study on the impact of encouraging green growth for sustainable development. Introduction. Next slide is related to introduction. Green growth refers to method for economically and politically sustainable growth that preserve the environment, whereas sustainable development principle offer a blueprint for improving environmental quality and ensuring prosperity for future generation. Objective of the studies are to understand the concept of green growth and sustainable development, to assess the relationship between green growth and sustainable development, and to make suitable suggestion based on the study findings. Research methodology. Secondary data are gathered in the current study based on the requirement of the research project. Data analysis is done using Union Budget 2023 and 24. The secondary data used in this study were gathered from blogs, posts, articles, and different journals. Data analysis. India is implementing multiple regulation and initiative aimed at optimizing energy utilization throughout diverse economic domain, encompassing green building, green equipment, green farming, green mobility, and green fuel. This green growth initiative not only helped to reduce the economy's carbon intensity but also opened up large-scale green job prospect. To encourage green growth and sustainable development, government has planned to launch different schemes such as PM Pranam, Gobardhan Scheme, Mishti, National Green Hydrogen Mission, Amrit Dharohar, and many more. Conclusion of the topic is, first of all, a more sustainable future can be achieved through the broad framework that sustainable development offers. It acknowledged the social and environmental concern cannot be sacrificed in the name of economic development and that long-term prosperity. The green growth offer useful methods and instrument to accomplish sustainable development. It provides practical ways to lower greenhouse gas emission, increase resource efficiency, and advance social justice. We can build a more resilient and sustainable economy that benefit all by making investment in green sector and technologies as well as green job and enterprises. A green growth and sustainable development are two sides of the same coin. Since they are so closely related, we cannot accomplish one without the other. Green growth in India seeks to reconcile economic expansion with environmental preservation and advance sustainable development. Aside from creating green jobs, India has the potential to lead the world in green energy technology and advance the cause of world welfare. In addition, the idea that green growth should be prioritized confirms that sustainable development is the key tenet of Indian policymaking. Suggestions for this suggestions are the government need to establish specific and challenging goals for cutting carbon emissions, raising the proportion of renewable energy in the energy mix, and enhancing environmental sustainability in the general. The government should provide financial incentives, tax exemption, or subsidies to companies or individuals who invest in renewable
Last 1 minute
energy.
left.
Okay, ma'am. Energy sources, adopt sustainable practices, or creating environmentally beneficial technology. Set aside money for construction and maintenance of renewable energy infrastructure such as hydroelectric power plant, wind turbines, and solar farms. Promote public-private collaboration to speed up the shift towards sustainable energy. Make investment in green technology research development to promote creativity in field like waste management, energy storage, and environmental friendly transportation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ritika.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kishori ma'am, do you have any questions you would like to ask? Any questions to the presenter?
No, no, we have already done with three presenters. Now I haven't asked to them, so it's not fair to ask this presenter as well. So
Okay.
let them everyone complete. If
Yeah,
you've done
yeah,
it
sure.
from the first presenter, it was fine. Okay,
Okay.
now let all the presenters complete with the presentation and then we'll do it.
Okay, okay, fine, ma'am. Shall we start with the next one?
Um,
Please.
Yeah, yeah.
Ma'am,
Our
can
next
I
presenter
take?
is Dr. Nikita Suresh Aurange.
Yes,
Nikita
ma'am.
ma'am?
Yes,
Acha,
ma'am.
yeah.
Ma'am, I'm
Kindly
sharing
present.
my
Yeah, yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
visible? Please advise me. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Um, yes, ma'am. But are you present? Yeah, yeah, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. First of all, greetings to all of you. Happy good afternoon to everyone present here. Topic for the research paper presentation for the today's conference is elevating the academic excellence. It is based on a study and assessing the impact of AI-powered ChatGPT as an ICT tool in enhancing the academic competency among the undergraduate level students of Navi Mumbai region. This research study considers the 50 respondents which were being tested, and this result were analyzed and evaluated by use of descriptive statistics frequency table. This study also reveals that how ICT is used as in a ChatGPT application in the learning classroom environment so that the student can get the more enhanced learning and can develop their creativity and critical thinking process. The objective for the research study is to study the perception of undergraduate level students towards the awareness of ChatGPT application and its efficient usage in the academic related learning, to analyze the implementation of ChatGPT as an ICT tool amongst the undergraduate level of academic learning, to assess the impact of AI powered ChatGPT 3 in the enhancing the academic competency among the undergraduate level of students of Navi Mumbai region. Hypothesis. Null hypothesis, as in there is no significant relationship between the efficient use of ChatGPT and academic competency among the undergraduate levels of students of Navi Mumbai region. And the alternative hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between the efficient use of ChatGPT and the academic competency among the undergraduate level students of Navi Mumbai region. What is the conceptual meaning regarding this ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a language AI powered application. It is a pocket friendly application which is easily available in our portable mobile device. We can operate it on free basis as well as on for the paid version. It is an artificial intelligence application. It is kind of a learning technique, and a language generative text is produced which is easily referable for the human because it gives human like text inputs and output results. So it is helpful in learning and conceptual understanding. It is a an application, we can say. So, how the academic competencies being described in the studies? The study focuses on academic competency, which refers that the student's ability to perform effectively in the educational setting. So, the result is being evaluated on the basis of their assessment, examination, coursework, assignments, and other activities which the students undergoing their academic learning. It will involve the subject knowledge, their critical thinking, their effective communication skill, any of the information available by through this ChatGPT application. It also helpful in time management, their study skills, and for problem solving and ethical learning. So these all academic related concept. For the research methodology, research design is the research study is performed as in descriptive manner. In the quantitative research is being used. And survey method was used. For the sample studies, 50 respondents were collected who were having only commerce background knowledge, undergraduate students. Sampling technique is simple random sampling. Lottery method is used here. Data collection is done from both the sources, primary and secondary. Tools is used as a self-structured questionnaire, which consists of 15 items. Data interpretation and findings is done by using descriptive statistics, frequency table, one sample t-test. Data collection is done from the region of Navi Mumbai area and the colleges here in the Navi Mumbai region. Limitation we can say for this research study, not for this topic. This research study is that the data is collected only from the commerce background student. So future scope can be like that. See,
Last 1 minute is left.
okay, ma'am. So the students includes the BAF, BMS, BBI, BMS, and BFM. So here is the one sample t-test. You can see the t-tail test and significance level is at less than 0.05. These were the questionnaire on which the SSPS is used. Findings were that results and discussion. Through this research study, I came to know that alternative hypothesis is being accepted, and it is very helpful as an ICT tool to be used in the classroom because students gain knowledge and they are fostering their critical thinking and creativity so they can develop more insight, and it also helps in time management and time saving so that the students can find out the more creative answers in a different manner through this chat gpt. And it's also helped that the self chat gpt help in self-paced learning. Self-paced learning means that this application is available 24 by 7 times, so whenever they have a curiosity they can go for the app. It helps to in creating the awareness so students are aware about this. It is beneficial for teachers also for the innovative and effective learning skills they can adapt, and they can provide more knowledge in the contextual manner in more precise way.
Ma'am,
Thank you,
please
ma'am.
conclude your
Thank you, ma'am.
session.
This is my yes, ma'am. So this is very helpful tool. This is all my presentation, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Kishori ma'am, she has done with the presentation.
I know.
Shall we go ahead with the next one, or your any observations you want to note?
No, I think I made it very clear,
Ah,
Shruti.
okay. Okay, ma'am.
Uh, Next presenter is Sudarshana Sarkar, but unfortunately, co-authors of Sudarshana Sarkar are interested in presenting. So, are they ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So, the topic for the next topic is building peace through cooperation. Lessons from five varied cases relating to labor unions versus management. So over to you, presenters.
Thank you.
Please share the screen.
Is the PPT visible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, in a world marked by conflict and discord, a pursuit of peace through cooperation stands as a fundamental challenge. Today, I invite you on an intellectual voyage, a journey into the intricate dynamics of peace building through cooperation. Now, the topic we have chosen is the second most important topic in this year's G20 agenda. The contemporary global landscape demands cooperative strategies to address conflicts from transnational issues to intrastate disputes. Our interconnected world requires a profound exploration of cooperation's role in forging lasting peace. This expedition draws from five carefully selected labor management conflict cases, each unveiling a pattern of common issue transcending industries and geographies. From the Hero Honda labor issue of 2005 to the Maruti Suzuki Manesar factory violence of 2012, these cases underscore the significance of effective conflict resolution mechanisms, ethical labor practice, and communication between labor and management. The Hero Honda case illuminated the complexities within India's automotive industry, where the intervention of the Indian government and labor mediators proved instrumental in breaking the deadlock, emphasizing the importance of structured dialogue. The Maruti Suzuki Manesar incident highlighted the consequences of unresolved grievance, shedding light on the disparities in pay, working conditions, and worker welfare. This tragic event revealed the vulnerabilities of industrial operations to labor unrest and legal proceeding. Moving beyond the borders, the 2017 Toyota Camry plant labor dispute in the US showcased the criticality of communication breakdowns, job security fears due to technological advancement, wage disparities, workplace safety, and the role of regulatory bodies in ensuring a fair and legal resolution.
So now we will talk about the other cases. First one, across the cases, effective conflict resolution emerged as
Sorry to
linchpin.
interrupt you, Nihar, but the slides are not moving.
Sorry.
Slides are not moving. If you are changing the slides, it's not moving.
Oh, okay. I hope they are visible now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So the labor conflict outlined Hero Honda, Maruti Suzuki, Toyota Camry, Foxconn factory, and the Chicago plant illuminate recurring pivotal in labor relational global. Across these cases, effective conflict resolution emerged as an linchpin. Dialogue and negative played key roles in resolution tension. Instances like Hero Honda highlighted the significance of open dialogue preventing escalations witnessed in the Maruti Suzuki case. Ethical labor practices consistently emerged as a fundamental concern. Workers sought fair wages, job security, and safe working conditions.
Last 1 minute
Organizations
left.
were sorry.
Last 1 minute left.
Okay. Organizations prioritizing these ethics like Toyota, Ford, and showcase better resolution approaches. Corporate responsibility and reputation management became a focal point. Organizations upholding ethical labor practices shielded their reputation during these crises. In conclusion, these cases underscore the significance of the effective conflict resolution, ethical labor practices, communication, union government roles, and corporate responsibility in labor disputes. These severe reminder of fairness, transparency, and collaboration is important in fostering harmonious labor and management relationships. Thank you.
So, thank you, the team. I would request Kishori ma'am whether we can proceed with the next presentation.
We are
No,
with
no,
all the presentations?
I'm asking you whether we can move on to the next presenter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So, next presentation, uh, I would like to request Miss Priya Nadar whether she's available. She was the first presenter, so is she available? Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Next presenter is Sanjana Khemka, ma'am, and
Yes,
her
sir.
top. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the topic of the ma'am is roadmap for the code to currency, exploring the link between digital skills and financial success using machine learning analytics. So over to you, Sanjana, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. My screen is visible, no?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Topic of my research is roadmap from code to currency, exploring the linkage between the digital skill and the economic growth. What is digital skill? It refers to the proficiency and capability individuals have in using the digital devices, software applications, and online platform. Workforce require very different forms of digital skill according to the job requirements, like how they operate different type of electronic devices, design and develop the electronic devices, write software for these smart devices, work on the internet, cloud-based applications. So these are the digital proficiency a workforce must have for the economic growth. Now, how we measure the economic growth? Economic growth is typically measured in terms of GDP. Often we come across this term, that is GDP, gross domestic product. GDP is a key indicator of the economic growth. If I am saying digital skill promotes economic growth, then how I can measure that India or the country is moving towards the economic growth? So the key indicator is the GDP. Indian economy is fueled by digital technology, digitally skilled workforce, services, agriculture, and industry. So, what is the main idea? What is the main force that drive for the economic growth? That is the digital skill. For the first time in history, India's GDP has crossed $4 trillion. With the support of technology and digital skill, India has become the world's most rapid expanding major economy and is predicted to rank among the top three world economies in the next 10 to 15 years. So India is heading towards the leading economy. From the progressing country, it is coming to the developed countries among the world. Why India is called the leading in the digital economy? If we look at the statistic, India has at present more than 1.2 billion people who are having Aadhaar card. 256 million people are having internet connection or connected to the internet, and every minute, every second, this number is increasing. 354 million smartphone devices are used. 0.1% cost per GB of data is in the form of average. 8.3 GB of data is consumed. 17 hours per week time is spent on social media. If we look at this statistic, we can understand how much digitally India has grown. Coming to the background, this is not a this has not come over the last fortnight or in a 1 year. This history goes back to the 20th century, when internet has come and the where the big computer has reduced to the smartphones. The government also plays a very key role in managing and coming up with the different type of policies for the digital India and skill India. Indian government has undertaken various initiatives to inculcate digital skill in its workforce. So even government is under a continuous process how they can equip their employee for or to the country, to the citizen of a country with a digital skill. For that, they are coming up with a different type of policies like they are coming with the SWAM, NPTEL, Diksha, AICTE program just to develop the skilled professional or person in India. Even we can look at the statistic. These are the growing trend, how the people are moving from 2010 to 2020, how this graph is moving upward in a skilled people. If we look at 2010, the person or the figure is 1, but I look at the 2018, it crosses even the figure 5. So these many people are getting skilled over a period of 8 years. Objective, my objective for this paper is to examine different parameter of the digital skill. What are the parameter that decide that a person is digitally skilled? To explore the availability of digital
Last
skill.
1 minute left.
Yeah, so these are my objective: to explore the availability, to show the digital skill as a key indicator for the economic growth, to study G20 policies related to the digital skill and the economic growth. Research methodology applied is literature review, questionnaire to collect the primary data, cleaning and processing data, data training and testing. As my methodology is machine learning, so I have used data training and testing through ML algorithm and analyzing and visualizing using the machine learning algorithm. In my collection, 118 participants were there. So these are the figures: male, female, number of person employed, unemployed, and self-employed. My objective has been fulfilled by these charts. Violin plot. Violin plot shows the distribution of the digitally skilled parameters with respect to the economic growth. Pair plot indicates that a parameter of digital skill are applicable across all sectors of the employability. Availability of the digital skill workforce, we can see number of digital skill people are available and it is in the continuous process. Explore the availability of digital resources in different sector of the economic growth. So digitally skilled people are spread across all the sectors of, whether it is a private sector, government sector, or the public sector. Then
Sanjana ma'am,
evaluation. Yeah.
time up. I would like
Yeah, sir.
you to
Thank you.
conclude.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So we'll move on to the next presenter. I may request Dr. Kinjal Gosai whether she is there. Dr. Kinjal Gosai. Okay. So the next presenter, I would like request Meghna Singh. Meghna Singh, ma'am, whether you are available.
Yes, sir, I am here. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, ma'am, could you please share your PPT?
Sure, sir.
Meghna ma'am's
Yes,
topic
sir.
is a comparative study of machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms. Over to you,
Very good
ma'am.
afternoon. Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Meghna Singh, as my topic title is the comparative study of the machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms. So the introduction part says that the how we can relate machine learning with the AI in the new generation, and it also says the what are the advantages if we include machine learning with the AI. Now the basic objective of my model is that the it also a pattern recognize prediction, automation efficiency, and human like cognitive abilities. ML6 to automate processes and task enabling system anonymously and process large volume data, boosting productivity. Main methodology I have used in the ML and AI
Sorry
for
to
ML.
interrupt you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
The folder, downloads folder is visible, nothing else.
Acha, it is not visible.
No,
Uh,
download folder is visible.
just a second. Is it visible now, sir?
We are waiting. Yes.
Okay. So the main methodology and approach of the ML and AI in the machine learning supervised algorithm, machine learning algorithm is mainly used to label, to train and test model. And the deep learning I have used the neural network, and with the help of this, the primary and secondary data. So I have majorly focused on the secondary data, which I got from the different resources. And the application of machine learning and AI is machine learning is depend upon the healthcare, and simultaneously with machine learning we can use the artificial intelligence in the robotics, and including the neural network as well. So the overlapping concept I found using the secondary data is that the data driven approaches, which majorly focused on the, if the both data set majorly focused on the model training and the prediction, and these are the interplays. And the conclusion of this is that, the future conclusion of this is that we can integrate AI with the ML with the human AI collaboration and federated learning. Sir, I'm done with my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would request the next participant to be ready. The next participant is, just a second, Surendra Savardekar, sir. So, Surendra, sir, are you there? Surendra, sir? बोलत कहाँ है? Okay, so so no response. We'll move on to the next. Rama Naniwadekar.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, Rama Naniwadekar, ma'am. Topic is the awareness about the skill courses among undergraduate students in suburban Mumbai, a study. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Would you
Is
please
my
share
screen visible?
just a second. Yes.
Yes. So, good afternoon, all of
Okay,
you.
ma'am. Make sure these slides are changing because we can see the first
Yeah.
slides.
I'll change the slides. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rama Nanivrekar, and my title of the research paper is Awareness about the Skill Courses Among Undergraduate Students in Mumbai. As we all are aware that unemployment or underemployment is the biggest concern in front of Indian economy. When I was writing this paper in the month of October, I found that unemployment rate was close to 7%, and today itself I checked the website, CMI website, and I found that unemployment rate was more than 8%. It was almost 8.8%. So this is the biggest concern for India today, and the solution for this can be skilling of the youth is the promising population that India has today. It's a boon for us, and skilling the youth is going to be the solution for the rising problem of unemployment. So my paper revolves around this topic. uh, the research gap, after doing the review of literature, the research gap that I found was almost every literature talks about importance of skill development, importance of skill courses, available government programs, and drawbacks in the system. But I did not find literature talking about the issue of reluctance of undergraduate students in acquiring additional skills apart from regular curriculum. So my paper will throw some light on this aspect as well. So the objectives of my study are to inquire if there is awareness among undergraduate students in suburban Mumbai about the availability of skill courses, to find whether there is any link between awareness about skill availability of skill courses and enrollment for skill courses, to find whether students are inclined to take up internship or job while completing or after the completion of a skill course. The methodology that I used is as follows. I collected primary data with the help of questionnaire. I collected data from 132 undergraduate students. Secondary data is collected from various online articles, newspaper articles, websites, etc. The statistical tools used are MS Excel, and the tests that I have employed are chi-square test and Z1 sample proportion test. I will quickly analyze the data that I collected. Majority of my respondents are from age 19 and 20. As you can see, 42 and 32% of the respondents belong to these age groups. Majority of them are from second and third year of graduation. Now I'll go to my hypothesis part and how I uh, analyzed the data with the help of them. So my first null hypothesis is only 50% of the undergraduate students or less are aware about the skill courses. My data was showing that 86% of the students are aware of the availability of skill courses. To understand the significance of this data, I ran Z1 sample proportion test, and I found that my p-value was very, very insignificant. I mean, it was very, very small, like it was 8.88178 e raised to the power minus 16. So it was way lesser than 0.05. That was my significance level. So I rejected my null hypothesis. So I can say that more than 50% of the undergraduate students from Mumbai who are my respondents are aware about skill courses. My next hypothesis, null hypothesis, is that there is no significant relationship between awareness about the skill courses and enrollment for skill courses. I used chi-square test of independence to check this data, and I found that my p-value was 0.1086, which was bigger than 0.05 significance level. So I accepted H0, which surprisingly shows that those students
Last
are aware.
1 minute left.
Yes, those students are aware about the availability of skill courses. They are not enrolling for those courses. And even last hypothesis of mine shows that I had to reject my last hypothesis as well, which was there is no significant relationship between completion of a skill course and taking up internship and job opportunities. So those students are completing the skill courses. They are not keen on taking up those opportunities in internships or jobs, which is a sad thing. We have to encourage students to take up more of skill courses and to take up internships further. Today, NEP is giving colleges and universities large scope to employ their own skill courses, which will be a promising thing in coming future. We can have skill centers at our own college levels, and we should invite industry-oriented private skill providers so that we can improve our level of employment and we can deal with the problem of unemployment in coming few years. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So our next participant is Surendra Savardekar, sir. Is
Yes,
sir
sir.
ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am ready. Actually, there was some network issue and there was some problem while sharing
Okay.
the PPT.
Okay. So,
So I am just
so
arranging it.
okay. So, are you ready with your PPT?
Yeah, I am ready with the PPT. There is just a technical glitch. That is what I am arranging in mobile.
So you need time, or you
One,
want to start?
1 or 2 minutes. 1 or 2 minutes.
So we'll move on to the next participant. That is Dr. Sneha Vaskar. Is Sneha Vaskar, ma'am, uh, there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Just a second, ma'am. Surendra sir, can you put yourself on mute?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so next participant is Dr. Sneha Vaskar, and her topic is a study on the perceived emotional inclusion amongst higher education students in Mumbai region. So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Sneha Vaskar, and I, along with my co-author, C.S. Swapnil Shenvi, are presenting a research paper titled A Study on Perceived Emotional Inclusion Amongst Higher Education Students in Mumbai region. So the focus of NEP 2020 has been fair and free access to education, which ensures that every student has free access to education, which is in congruence to the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education. So the one of the important concepts discussed in the G20 summit was also SDG 4, which was quality education, and our topic essentially revolves around that. Could you please switch to the next slide, please? The objectives of our research are to understand the perception that students of higher education have with respect to emotional inclusion, whether they feel that they are emotionally included or accepted in the higher education that they belong to. The second objective is to identify the relationship between gender, emotional inclusion, and self-esteem amongst higher education students in Mumbai region. And the third objective is to identify what factors encompass of emotional inclusion and self-esteem amongst higher education students. The next slide focuses on the hypothesis. We have three hypotheses. The first one trying to understand whether a significant relationship exists between gender and perceived emotional inclusion. The second hypothesis tries to understand whether a significant relationship exists between gender and self esteem amongst higher education students. And the third hypothesis tries to understand or find out whether perceived emotional inclusion and what is the relation between perceived emotional inclusion and self esteem amongst higher education students. So, in this context, perceived emotional inclusion is a sense of belongingness or emotional acceptance that students feel that they have in the higher education. I now request my co-author, CS Swapnil Shenvi, to continue with the research design.
Thank you. I'll proceed with the presentation. So this is a quantitative based research, and we have had a questionnaire with 30 Likert scale based questions with 5-point scale, and the period of study was from October to November 2023. We followed the Cochrane's formula for calculating the sample size. Since the population was infinite, we had to use this formula, and according to this formula, 384 was the ideal number. However, to give more representation to respondents, we have considered 394 respondents in this research. These are the research tools that we have used. We have used Cronbach's alpha for finding out the internal consistency amongst the questions in the questionnaire. Shapiro-Wilk test was used for finding whether the data was normal or not. To test the hypothesis, we have used independent sample t-test, Mann-Whitney test, and Pearson's correlation test. And to find out the factors involved in perceived emotional inclusion and self-esteem, we have used exploratory factor analysis. We've used a combination of Excel and Jamovi version 2.3 both. These are certain limitations because of a certain time constraint. The research may have been a little hampered, and the research is from Mumbai region only. Further recommendations include that we should extend this research to other parts of the country as well. We are starting with the data analysis now. These are certain preliminary questions, certain demographic questions. So I'll not get into depth of this because of time constraint of the presentation. For reliability analysis, we have used Cronbach's alpha, which included the statistics are on your screen. For emotional inclusion, it was 0.886, and for self-esteem, 0.827. Both are very good parameters. So the questionnaire was a very reliable questionnaire. We've also used Shapiro-Wilk test for finding out the normality of all the questions in emotional inclusion. And the next slide shows about self-esteem. If you see, all the answers of Shapiro-Wilk test are below 0.05.
Last 1 minute left.
Yes, so we can say that it is the questionnaire, the respondents were not normal. Therefore, we used Mann-Whitney test and independent sample t-test for emotional inclusion and self-esteem both. And we found out that there is a link between gender and emotional inclusion. However, there is no significant relationship between gender and self-esteem. We found out Pearson's correlation test p-value as 0, which indicated that there is a direct relationship between emotional inclusion and self-esteem. We also use factor analysis, and we identified 3 important factors for upliftment or increasing this emotional inclusion and self-esteem, which can be clubbed as emotional belongingness, self-positivity, and comparative factors. And certain recommendations that higher education institutions should take proactive measures, organize workshops, seminars, and collaborative activities for bridging the disparities and embracing students of all backgrounds in their educational setup. So this is our conclusion. And eventually, for holistic development and of the student community, fulfillment of SDG 4 in its truest spirit should be done by all the educational institutions. These are certain references, and our plagiarism test, which was of 4%. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next participant. Our next participant is Surendra Savadekar, sir. Are you there? Are you ready with the PPT?
Yes, sir. Actually, it is uploading. That is why it is taking so much time. Actually, it is 67 MB of PPT. Because of the photo plates,
So are
the
you?
size is big.
So are you
It
ready?
is finished with. No, it will take 1 or 2 minutes more because it is uploading up to
Okay, sir.
70% just finished.
Okay, so we'll move on to our next participant, Chetna Paresh Kaklautkar, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Are you there, ma'am?
Yes,
You
sir.
ready?
I'm audible, sir.
Yeah, you are audible. Are you ready with the PPT?
Uh, yes, sir. एक minute.
Hello.
हाँ, sir.
Yes, are you ready with the PPT?
Yes, yes, sir. My slide is visible, sir.
Um, just a second. It's getting shared, but we are not able to view it.
Okay, okay,
It's a complete black screen.
okay. Mm. Now, sir.
Just a second. Yeah, it is visible. Make sure you change the slides.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Chetna Paresh Kaklotar. Today my topic title is G20 and its impact on fitness industry and Indian economy. G20 is a forum for the international economic cooperation among the major economies. The primary focus is on the economics issues, public health, and social well-being. G20 summits provides a platform for countries to collaborate on a various issues, including the public health. G20 has endorsed the use of digital technology to enhance the health data collection, analysis, sharing, as well as to support the delivery of the health services and intervention. Here, the digital fitness market can contribute to the G20's global goals of promoting economic growth, innovation, and social inclusion. G20 Summit 2023 was the first time that India hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Here, six agenda are provided that the green development, climate, finance, inclusive growth, SDGs, technology, multilateral, institutional, and the women-led developments. It is concluded from the review of literature that the Indian policy had taken an initiative for the One Health approach, and this One Health approach is one of the primary initiative in the G20 Summit 2023. For
Sorry to
that,
interrupt you, ma'am. The slides are not getting changed.
okay. Now, sir, my slide is visible. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
So one of the main objectives of the theme is the One Health approach, and from for that the initiative teams, One Health teams also take a initiative for the Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana by the Prime Minister, and the National Health Mission scheme are designed to support One Health approach. The digital health and fitness market has continuously growing since the last few years, and with the advent of the technology. But the COVID pandemic 19 has emerged this digital fitness to adopt all the fitness consumers. So these smart fitness devices have become increasingly popular with their usage more than the triple in the past 4 years, and the market is growing by the 25%. It is stated by Dr. Manoj Bansal. The objective of this study is to study the growth of the fitness industry in G20 countries and in India, and to analyze the impact of the G20 on the Indian economy. For this study, descriptive and exploratory research design is taken, and the secondary data are used for that. Here, digital health market is comprising of the three segments: digital fitness and well-being, digital treatment and care, online doctor, and the consultant. Again, for the research paper, we have taken the digital fitness and well-being market. So digital fitness and well-being market includes next another sub segments, fitness trackers and the health and wellness coaching. So
Last
this is
1 minute left, ma'am.
okay, sir. So I conclude my. uh, So G20 Summit 2023 with India's presidency, health and well-being were the one of the main theme. So here the promotion this summit has taken a summit has taken promote the one health approach, and it has impacted positively the fitness market. G20 trade and investment working team supported and created opportunity for the fitness entrepreneur and startups in the India and the worldwide, and this is resulted the expansion of fitness market and reach the new consumers. Here we have a huge smart fitness devices market because of the technology and IoT. So fitness industry have a huge data for the product development, marketing strategy, quality improvement, and check the product efficiency. But the problem is what this data is getting huge. The challenge is what the data storage and different types of the data are bigger challenge. So the industry should
Ma'am,
follow the advanced analytics for the data. Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
So,
Yeah, I'm ready,
yes.
sir. I'm ready. Shall I present?
Okay, so share your PPT.
Okay, is the screen shared?
Are you sharing through mobile?
Yeah, mobile, through mobile. I have connected through
Okay.
mobile.
Okay, so it is visible. So next participant is Surendra Savardekar sir, and his topic is sustainable farming practice of microgreen of Eleusine corcana and Horridum vulgare. So over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Surendra. I'm actually presenting on the topic of sustainable farming practice of microgreens of Eleusine corcana and Horridum vulgare. So, coming to the part of introduction, sustainable development practice, it is actually an aspect which is based upon economic, societal, and environmental factors. So, agricultural sector it is one of the major aspects in sustainable developmental practice, and it promotes the development of green zones when infused with high tech practice. So, the technology when it is infused with the modern development, and if it is produced, is the screen visible, sir, properly? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Huh. Now I think it is visible properly. Okay, so it promotes the green zones when infused with high-tech practice. And Eleusine Carotena and Hordeum vulgare, the ragi and barley, both are monocots which are staple crops with nutritional benefits. And hence, our main objective was to carry out a research work for microgreen cultivation of such monocots of Eleusine coracana, that is ragi, and Hordeum vulgare, that is barley, which are one of the higher importance and enriched with wide range of phytochemicals, nutraceuticals, and also having good amount of basic nutritional efficacy. So the material method we actually cultivated the microgreens. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we bought the seeds from Wagni Karzat from the nursery. We treated the seeds for 24 hours with hot water treatment and priorly soaking for 24 hours, and then and in a soilless medium containing the cocoa peat, having a trench or a block of 1.5 feet to 1 feet in width, we cultivated these microgreens. For 7 days, the day from sowing, it was kept as a resting period through which on the completion of seventh day, we took the produce and we further went on for analyzing the quality characteristics such as weight, length, etc. So the results that we got, uh, it was actually the random 20 saplings that we took from the microgreens, and we had measured the length. The average length measurements of each set was considered, and it was considered for the results and discussion. We found that actually Ilosan Coracana and Hodium vulgar. In between these two samples, Hodium vulgar was found to be greatly effective in terms of growth, and hence the sum was found to be highest, that is 68.5 for Ilosan Coracana, and for Hodium it was 140.2. It was like twice the value of Ilosan Coracana, as well as the standard deviation within the sample population of Ilosan Coracana and also Hodium vulgar was calculated. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So we got the standard deviation where we actually got something about the central tendency about the dispersion of the complete data set, through which we found to be effective in terms of the median as well as the deviation within the sample. For both the samples, we carried out unpaired t-test to check out whether there was a significant difference between the growth of Elysian Coracana and Hodium vulgar. The t statistics was found to be negatively impacted with minus 17.21, having the critical value for alpha at 0.05 and 0.01 to be 2.02 and 2.711. However,
Last
at
1 minute left.
1%, okay, at 0.01 significance, we found the calculated value to be 1.54, and for 0.05 level of significance, we found it to be as 1.54. The complete data set was further calculated in statistical analysis through a bar diagram, where we easily get to see about the Hodium vulgar to be effectively grown in length in terms of when compared with the Ilosan Coracana. These are the photo plates of Ilosan Coracana and Hodium vulgar, along with the microgreens that were grown in a set of complete blocks. The conclusion was that we got the calculated value to be significant in terms of a critical value, where the growth of Hodium vulgar is to be effective than the Ilusan coracana, that is bragi. However, both of these plants are highly effective in terms of microgreen because it can be easily consumed as a whole, since it is a microgreen, and it can be effectively used in various sectors of food industries, cosmetic industries, as it contains a good amount of phytochemicals, nutritional efficient chemicals, as well as the beneficiary that can be easily provided in a very less space of farming practice. So
Time
these
up,
are the
sir.
references, and thank you for giving an opportunity to participate and also be present in this conferences. Thank you. Thanks
Thank,
a lot.
thank you, sir. Hello. The next presenter is Vaishali Patil, ma'am. Is Vaishali Patil, ma'am, available?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So the topic is India's trade with G20, a perspective on crude and gold imports. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. The topic of my research paper is India's trade with G20, a perspective on crude and oil imports. Introduction: India ranks third in the world for oil consumption and 20th in oil production, importing about 82% of its oil for consumption. India is the second largest importer of gold in the world, with gold imports worth $58.4 billion in 2021. G20 economies account for more than 80% of world gross domestic products, 75% of global trade, and 60% of world's population. India's top oil suppliers among G20 countries in 2022 were Saudi Arabia and Russia. Statement of problem: India's import dependence on crude oil is a significant challenge, leading to persistent challenges to the Indian economy and makes it susceptible to geopolitical headwinds. India's production of crude oil is barely 13% of its requirement. The balance is imported for domestic consumption. India's gold imports are also a significant challenge for the country's economy. The demand for gold in India is driven by various factors, including cultural and religious traditions, weddings, and investment purposes. In crude oil and gold, outflow of foreign exchange is a major area of concern. Objectives of the study: to analyze India's trade with G20 countries, to evaluate the exports and imports with special emphasis on trade in crude oil and gold, to assess balance of trade with G20 countries in crude oil, and to info findings and conclusions and recommendations. Objective of the study was to obtain significance on India's crude oil. It is significant because of the crude oil import volume of India is very significant, which is 277.30 million metric tons of crude oil and petroleum products being imported in the financial year 22-23. India also exports refined petroleum products extracted from crude oil to various G20 countries. India imported 673.3 tons of gold in 2022. The foreign exchange reserves are stressed because of the import payments of these products, contributing significantly to the current account deficit. Limitations of this study were it's based on secondary data, and the data collected from different sources may vary due to the measures of conversion applied by the publishers of such secondary sources of data. Data analysis: India's top exports to member countries of G20 in 2022 was petroleum products worth 30 billion US dollars, jewelry 25.9 billion US dollars. India's top import items from member countries of G20 in 2022 included petroleum products worth 40.6 billion US dollars, gold 17.6 billion US dollars. The top two out of three suppliers of crude oil to India, that is Russia and Saudi Arabia, together have a share of more than 50% of total crude oil imports into India. Switzerland and South Africa, both part of G20 member nations, supply more than 50% of gold imported by India. Total petroleum products exported by India was 57.32 billion US dollars, of which 30 billion US dollars was to the G20 countries. The findings of this research paper are: India's import dependence on crude oil poses persistent challenges to its economy, as a 10% increase in crude oil prices is estimated to increase domestic inflation by 30 basis points as per government sources. This makes the country vulnerable to geopolitical headwinds as observed during the Russia-Ukraine war, which led to global rise in crude prices. This price rise led to retail inflation breaching the 6% mark for 4 consecutive quarters and resultant increase in the interest rates in the economy. Gold traditionally plays an extremely important role in India as investment and for jewelry purposes, especially during the festive and wedding season. The government has implemented a substitution strategy for crude oil and gold to decrease the economy's import dependence and to conserve the forex reserves. Recommendations: promotion of renewable
Last 1 minute left.
Yes, sir. Promotion of renewable and clean energy sources will help reduce the consumption of crude oil and petroleum products. Setting up of renewable energy research centers for fostering research in modern technology and renewable energy sector. India should speed up the work on proposed new India trade routes such as India Middle East Europe trade corridor. With regards to gold, sovereign gold bond acts as an efficient tool for reduction in physical gold purchases, making the product entirely tax-free from the current capital gains tax regime will go a long way in making it more popular product. Conclusion: the consumption of crude oil as well as gold cannot be reduced in the short term due to the nature of its consumption. However, the long-term sustainability of such import dependence, especially for crude and petroleum oil, can harm the economy. Therefore, import substitution and alternative energy sources with domestic production, namely ethanol blending in petrol, hydrogen blending in natural gas, etc., needs to be given a boost. Gold has traditionally acted as a shield against inflation, a safe store of value.
Time up, ma'am.
Like sovereign gold bank can definitely help reduce the stress on foreign reserves of India. Thank you, sir. This is a list of the references and the bibliography. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry. Our next participant is Nair, sir. Are you there?
Yes, yes, I am present. Just give me a moment. I'll present the screen. Just give me a moment.
Okay. So Nayar Govind sir is going to present.
Yeah,
The
just give me a
topic
moment.
is
I'll share my PPT on the screen. Just let me know. Are you able to see the screen?
okay. Yes, sir, it is visible. So the topic is
Yeah.
study on
The top.
awareness of capital, working capital, and profitability amongst finance students at undergraduate level in Navi Mumbai. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My topic is study on awareness of working capital and profitability amongst finance students at undergraduate level in Navi Mumbai. The data over here is being, or the research is being presented by Vinod Nair, along with this research has been done along with my research guide, Dr. Anupama Gowde. The introduction topic, we as commerce people, we all know the working capital is current asset minus current liabilities. However, current working capital plays a very important role as an accounting indicator, wherein a positive working capital shows that business has the resources to cover all short-term obligations, as well as in case of a negative working capital, it suggests there would be financial difficulties and short-term need for extra financing. Inventory management and accounts receivable management plays a crucial role, component of managing working capital as per Gitman in 2021. With accounts receivable management, companies can shorten the time it takes for the customers to pay their bills by implementing efficient credit and collection processes, freeing up cash that may be utilized to fulfill short-term debts and commitments. Again, as in the Gitman 2021. Statement of problem. Here in this particular research, we have considered the problem that working capital is in the structure of balance sheet, higher proportion of which leads to concentration of resources and builds inefficiency in performance. A low working capital can lead to adverse impact on the operations due to insufficient resources. To ensure an optimum level of working capital, the first step should be to build awareness. This study analyzes the awareness level amongst undergraduate level students. Objectives of the study: to analyze the awareness about working capital among undergraduate students, to evaluate the knowledge about effect of high concentration of data, that is receivables, as a part of current assets in the business, to assess the need of for working capital for business entities, to ensure findings and conclusions and offer suggestions and recommendations. Significance of study: the study obtains its significance as working capital is one of the important topics in the curriculum for finance students. It is, however, taught with the help of practical problems for calculating the working capital requirement. Management of working capital is also the essence for a successful business. As a student, it is important to have sufficient knowledge to understand working capital. Limitation of the study: the study has limitations due to the scope and extent of the study conducted. The research paper, due to the low sample size, geographical area limitation, and the scope being limited to understanding awareness on the topic of working capital. Further, the awareness may be limited by the curriculum and the knowledge base of the candidates surveyed as a part of this study. The results may differ on a larger sample as well as with respect to population from different geographical area. The study does not incorporate the effects, knowledge level, intelligence of the respondents, and also the academic level for the purpose of this study. Review of literature. Here, a few review of literatures have been done. Due to the limitation of time, I will not be covering those. Research methodology. Here, we took nature and source of data collection. The data was collected from primary sources consisting of a total sample of 120, of which 116 have been used for analysis purpose. The four were excluded due to incomplete data in them. Secondary data sources from various sources like books, journal articles, websites, annual reports of listed companies were considered. Research hypothesis. In this particular research, three hypotheses has been proved based on the objectives of the study. The first one, the null hypothesis, talks about undergraduate students are not aware about net working capital. Research hypothesis 2 states that undergraduate students are not aware about reason for high concentration of data as a part of current assets. The third hypothesis, null hypothesis, talks about undergraduate students are not aware about the need for working capital. Data analysis. In the first research hypothesis, the chi-square test ensured that the p-value for the first research hypothesis
Last
is
minute
less than
left,
0.0.
sir.
Sure. Less than 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis, that is, undergraduate students are not aware about the net working capital, is rejected. It shows that they are aware about what net working capital is. Research hypothesis 2 also yielded a p-value less than 0.05, again ensuring that undergraduate students are aware for the reason for high concentration of data. Whereas research hypothesis 3, the p-value was greater than 0.05, therefore the null hypothesis could could not be rejected, which means that students are not aware about the need of the working capital in business. The findings summarized by the research is the awareness about what constitutes working capital is present among students. They are also aware about the impact of high concentration of data as a part of current assets. However, the awareness on the need of the working capital for business entities is lacking among studied populations. The suggestions and recommendations include concept of working capital needs to be clear among students. Teaching methodology should include theoretical understanding of working capital. Teaching pedagogy should incorporate a case study method. The inculcation of job training in
Time up,
curriculum will also
sir.
help in increasing the awareness among the working capital among students.
Time up,
This is the
sir.
conclusion. Just I'll conclude. This concludes that overall the curriculum needs further development for inclusion of the knowledge. Thank you. This is the bibliography.
Thank you, sir. Our next participant is Revati Hanswadkar. Revati ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Are you ready with the PPT?
Yeah, yeah. Can I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. So our presenter, Revati Hanswadkar, is going to present a study on G20 and multilateralism, navigating global challenges in 21st century. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is a study on G20 and multilateralism, which indicates navigating global challenges in the 21st century. So basically, everybody has a short idea about what is G20 that brings together the world major economics to deliberate on a global economic policy and other pressing issues, which has been comprising both developed as well as underdeveloping and developing nations. The G20 serves a platform for a dialogue and collaboration, reflecting its members' country diverse interests and perspective. With that multilateralism in the 21st century, it defines at the heart of the G20 missions lies the principles of multilateralism, the belief that global challenges require collective cooperative solutions, while understanding the strengthening multilateral approaches becoming paramount in an era where no single nations can address the complex issues in an isolation. Coming towards the key points regarding the G20 and the multilateralism, number one is economic coordination. That is the primary source of G20. Regarding the economic coordination, members country discuss policy to address the economic challenges, promote sustainable development, etc. The second comes to the financial stability. It emerged in responses to financial crisis, and the financial stability remains a key focus. Next, global governance reform, where the G20 provides a forum for discussion on reforming global governance institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, etc. That coming to our next is trade and investment, where G20 discussions has been often centered around promoting open and fair trade, reducing the trade barriers, and fostering the conducive environment. Climate change and sustainable development indicates the G20 were addressing pressing global challenges, including climatical change, sustainable development, and others as efforts to achieve the United Sustainable and health challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic we have physically and mentally challenged that situations, how to cope up with the and how if any further situation arises, what are the precautions we have to take. Coming towards the objective of the study to study the G20 and multilateralism is number one to assessment of G20, how the effectiveness working, multilateral cooperation with dynamics, policy recommendation, responses to the emerging challenges, inclusivity and representation, impact of global governance, public governance and accountability, long-term impact, and comparative analysis. The review of literature taken by the websites G20 forum, the magazines, and then where I have took the two review of literatures, and indeed it has been added a energy crisis in Europe, Ukraine war, and etc. They have said ki how G20 has been impacted and effectiveness. Research methodology, this study is purely descriptive and qualitative. The study is based on my secondary data, which is collected from the website, research papers, books, scholarly articles, journals, etc., which were discussed during the study. to unravel the complexity of G20 and multilateralism. Our study employs fully multifaceted approach. We delve into historical perspective, policy analysis, and the case study to provide comprehensive understanding of G20 and its impact on global governance. At the end, the conclusion, as we say, we progress through this presentation, we can anticipate gaining insight into the effectiveness of G20 initiatives, the challenges which has been faced fostering multilateral cooperations, the potential pathways for enhancing the G20 roles in the navigating the dynamic global landscape. In a broader concept, if I have to say as a researcher, through its comprehensive analysis of the G20 engagement with multilateralism, makes a meaningful contribution to the ongoing discourse on effective global governance by shedding light on the strength and weakness of the international forums like the G20 as an aid in understanding how such entities shape the world
Last
response
minute left.
complex. In essence, this study serves as a valuable resource as a policymaker, scholars, and practitioner interested in the evolving landscape of global governance and the role of multilateral institutions in navigating global complexity. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Two presenters in the list are left, making a last call for the same. First, I would like to request Priya Nadar ma'am. Priya Nadar ma'am. Is Priya Nadar ma'am available? Okay. And the other participant that we haven't able to connect is Dr. Kinjal Gosai. Is Dr. Kinjal Gosai there? Okay, so Kishori ma'am, we are done with the presenters. Can we call it as a done because all the participants except for the two has presented. Everyone has presented.
Okay, we can. Just give
Okay.
me one. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, Aniket,
Yes, ma'am.
I would really vouch on your words that I actually, when you said, I did not expect that it would be that difficult. But after going through all the paper presenters, let me confess that yes, it was indeed a little bit difficult for me because the paper presentations were exceptionally good as compared to what I thought. And they really done a good work. And what normally, I mean, I have been into this conference and chairman for so long, and there were a number of papers that we have gone through. But this is one conference that I should say that you really have all the participants with very thoroughly researched papers. And this we can say as a real paper presentation, and it was indeed very difficult for me to it is going to be very difficult for me to give you one name as such. But then on that note, let me tell all the other participants that there are various parameters when you talk about presentation. Okay, in detail, as madam has requested me that I'll always also be there for the valedictory. So there I'll talk about the presentation part. But to confine this particular session, let me tell all the participants that only one would be the winner and all others will not. But then there are certain parameters on which we find out who has then upper edge and he has been the winner. Actually speaking, I do not know anyone who have presented the paper and all were new to me. And that is why I think it is more comfortable for me to judge and see the parameters and technically on the basis of your presentation we can give the judgment. So yes, indeed a little difficult, but then yes, we can call it a session, and in detail I would talk in the validatory session and how to make a presentation, or rather what are the parameters when you go for a paper presentation. in brief, I would be telling in the valedictory session. So I appeal all the participants, first of all, very good. You all have made good work, good presentation, and all join for the valedictory so that you'll be listening to the various parameters that we have. Okay.
So, would you like to extend any suggestions for our presenters?
Yeah, that suggestions also I'll give them on the in the valedictory session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, I'll like to uh, make request Shruti ma'am to
Because
take
we hardly have any time. It is 3:59 and Kanchana ma'am told us that we will be starting at 4 o'clock. So instead of here, instead of making a double comment on that, I'll give my comments at that validity session.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, I will like to request Shruti ma'am to give a vote of thanks for this session to Dr. Kishori ma'am. Over to you, Shruti ma'am.
Thank you, Aniket sir. It's my privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks and acknowledge their contribution. I, Shruti Save, on behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of PTVS M.L.Dahanukar College of Commerce and Department of Civics and Political Science, University of Mumbai, extend a hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Kishori Bhagat. Madam, I offer my sincere gratitude for accepting our invitation. Your expert knowledge and guidance are deeply appreciated. Thank you once again for sparing some time from your busy schedule and joining us. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I also take this formal opportunity to thank all the participants and presenters for being a part of G20 and Multilateralism International Conference. So, with that, we conclude today's technical session, and I'll request all participants to join the conference meet for the valedictory section. Please, we are starting the session in
Uh,
10 minutes.
Kishori ma'am. मॅम फुलमली मॅम किशोरी मॅमला रिझल्ट द्यायचे होते डिक्लेअर करायचं होतं
हो त्या देतील तुम्ही फक्त अनाउन्स करा आता you have to just announce here at what time we have to come back and where we have to join. So link you have to put so they will join for the valedictory. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Do
Okay.
that. Do that.
So all the participants and presenters, the link that was available in the morning, the same link will be followed. We'll share it again on your WhatsApp group. So make sure that you join the same link. It is the same link that you have received previously in the morning. We'll send it again. And the validatory session will begin at 4:15. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.